Hello and welcome to this video where I am going to be talking about my most played songs from Queen. I've made a few videos about Queen on my channel. I can't remember all of them exactly, but I definitely know I've gone through Queen's songs on Spotify, and I have watched live performances from Queen back in the 70s and 80s with Freddie Mercury, and then also present day with Adam Lambert. Needless to say, I am a fan of Queen. I am a fan of Queen in the past, and I am a fan of Queen presently. I actually, right before COVID, when Queen was last touring, I was finally able to see Brian May and Roger Taylor on tour with Adam Lambert, and I had my mind completely blown. I think what I enjoy about Queen's music is it's definitely music that I have grown up on. It is music that I have heard throughout my entire life, but also I think what has intrigued me to Queen specifically through the years is the fact that their whole persona is very different from other rock bands of that time. What I mean by that is Roger Taylor and Brian May and John Deacon and Freddie Mercury, all of them are kind of like these guys that you don't suspect to be rock stars. All of them had some form of schooling or degree that basically they could have had very traditional lives. They had very solid plan Bs, but they all instead just really wanted to be musicians and create fabulous music. And as a result of that, I think it's just a very interesting kind of mixture of personalities that formed this band, and they really just accepted each other for who they were and created fabulous music that also has some variety in it. That's something I've always enjoyed about Queen's music, is especially if you listen to it through the decades, you can tell there's a shift from 70s Queen to 80s Queen to early 90s Queen, but at the same time, it all still has a very similar Queen feel. Because of that, there are many, many Queen songs I love to listen to, but I thought it'd be fun to create my top 10 most played songs. And I say most played because most played is different from like critically ranking their songs. These are the songs that I just myself have over the years definitely have gravitated to most. And then I have 5 honorable mentions as well, because as you can imagine, when it comes to Queen, it's pretty difficult to pick only 10 songs. The first song on my list is from A Day at the Races, which is from 1976, and that is Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy. That song is just so fun to sing along to. I love the melody of the verses and the chorus. And of course, this album in particular has a lot of wonderful Freddie backing vocals, which I adore so much. The melody of this song is very bouncy. It just kind of like bounces along, and that makes it really fun to sing along to. So I think I've probably listened to that one riding in the car a lot when I'm alone, and I can just belt it out at the top of my lungs. Number 2 is a very worldwide popular Queen song for good reason. I don't care how popular it is. I still listen to it constantly, and that is from Jazz, 1978 album Jazz, Don't Stop Me Now. That song is iconic because it really does feel like Freddie's song. He wrote the song, and the lyrics and just the intense tempo of the song, I think it's just a very accurate representation of how he was as a person. He lived hard, he lived fast, and he just didn't want to stop. It definitely is a song that really portrayed that side of his personality to a T. And at the same time, it is a motivational song. Like, it gets me pumped up, it gets me going. And in fact, I specifically remember when I graduated from college, I had a radio show in college, and I made that my swan song on the radio. I made that the very last song that I ever played at my college radio station was Don't Stop Me Now. So that was setting me up for my future, clearly. Another one, another classic from A Day at the Races is Somebody to Love. That is another song that I can list as beyond popular, but for great reason. Somebody to Love is one of my ultimate rock ballad songs. It still has the guitar solo from Brian, and it has the wonderful drums, and vocally, though, it just really displayed Freddie's immaculate voice. And I love the bridge and the build that comes with it. And it's just an iconic song for a reason. 1,000, a million people cover it. But no matter all the covers I've heard, the original, I always come back to it. It is just supreme. And I don't think it's a song that's going to lose popularity anytime soon. It's lived on this long for good reason. Speaking of songs that have lived on for good reason, this one is also, there's going to be some songs on my top 10 that are probably in everyone's top 10 around the world. And the next one, A Night at the Opera from 1975, Bohemian Rhapsody. How could it not be in my top 10? As someone who loves music that takes twists and turns and has unexpected elements or unexpected shifts, this song really just ticks all of that. Combined with the piano and the vocals, I love layered vocals, and that is from everyone. I mean, John Taylor's vocals are insane on Bohemian Rhapsody. And it is another song that really just shows you the mind of Freddie Mercury and his mind and how he approached music, which I also love so much. It's like a peek inside his brain. Okay, number 5, this is the next one and probably the last one that is like kind of a given because it is so incredibly popular worldwide. And that is Another One Bites the Dust. The bass line is everything on that song. Clearly, the bass line should be everything because it is a song written by John Deacon. But seriously, I think that's why so many people love it. It is a kind of it's definitely a moodier song. It opens with the bass line and Freddie is singing in the lower part of his register in the first verse, and then it shifts, adding some electric guitar. Freddie's voice is opening up more. We're getting more of the gravel and fierceness vocally, and all those reasons combined, it is just a good mood song. It is a song that puts you in a very particular mood, and that is probably why I have listened to it for many years, many years, and it has never left my Queen rotation. I forgot to mention that Another One Bites the Dust is from The Game that was released in 1980. There's that. We're going back to A Night at the Opera right now with Love of My Life. It's such a beautiful, emotional love song. And what I really love about it is obviously it's a song where Freddie's vocals are really getting to shine because it is way stripped back musically. But even so, it is his backing vocals. It is the backing vocals that are all layered up that truly make that song from, oh, this is pretty to, wow, this is stunning for me. And it's what makes me want to keep listening to it over and over again. It's one of the more subdued songs musically, for sure, but not vocally by any means. And I really like that it's a song that just lets the vocals shine and the emotion of the lyrics just purely shine through. From 1974's Sheer Heart Attack, I have 2 songs that I want to bring up. And the first one is right up there with good old-fashioned Loverboy and why I love it, and that is Killer Queen. I love singing along to Killer Queen. And it's a very difficult song to sing along to. It's not one that I sound pretty by any means singing along to it. It's just so freaking fun to try and sing along to the song. Also, the lyrics are creative. I love the visual the lyrics give in describing the killer queen. I think they are so colorful and fun. And it's a little bit like, what's the right word? It's definitely a little bit theatrical in the styling of like how he is using his voice to sing the song. But that's what I love about it. It's just a very acutely Queen song. And that's what I love about it. And the second one from Sheer Heart Attack is a genuine rocker. Now I'm Here. I love that it is definitely more of a traditional rock and roll song for Queen. I think that that is something that I really enjoyed, especially in their albums that were in the mid and early 70s. Also, Now I'm Here is a song live that is fabulous. So good. So many of these, I mean, all Queen live, whether it was in the past or present, absolutely incredible. But Now I'm Here is definitely one live that I love hearing so much. I love Freddie's performances of it, and I love Adam's delivery of it too when they've been going on tour. It definitely gets the crowd in a really good, fun place. Like, you can just tell it's just it's very much so an energy booster at their concerts. 1,000%. My last two that I have as my most played are probably the biggest wild cards. My first one is from The Works in 1984, and it is Machines, Back to Humans. That one probably is like, what? To a lot of people. But I just think what I first of all, what I like about it is it definitely sounds different. I mean, mid-80s Queen, they definitely were going off away from the most traditional style of rock and roll. But what I like about it is the lyrics, honestly. Well, a couple things. I really like the lyrics because it's all about machines taking over and how it's just becoming literally, like they say, a machine's world. And I think it's funny because that was written in 1984, or well, it was released in 1984. And I just think about what life is today, and I'm like, wow, want to talk about machines taking over? Like, you had no idea what was coming, okay? But also, what really does it for me, this is definitely a song where it is all about Freddie's voice for me. He has so much intensity and gravel on this song as the song progresses, and that is what makes it for me. Like, it's just impossible to replicate it. If anyone were to try and sing with the level of intensity that he comes at you with, especially on the second verse, it's intense. Like, you would probably hurt your throat and voice permanently. But I think that's why I love listening to it, is because it's just a really good display of how far he would push his voice to get that true feeling out. And that's, I think, what has kept me coming back and listening to Machines over and over. My last song that's in my top 10 most played is We're Going Back to a Night at the Opera. And this one is Brian May's solo song, 39. I think I just have such a soft spot for Brian May. I just think 39 is precious. I love how sweet his voice is, and the music is completely different. And I think it's completely different from what you typically think of Queen music sounding like. And I think that's kind of what I like about it, is if you didn't know who was singing it and you just randomly heard it and you've never heard it before, I don't think you would ever guess it's a Queen song because, one, Freddie's not singing it, but two, it is a little bit different music styling wise than a typical Queen song. And at what point that song was released in their career, I like that there was a solo song for Brian instead of just making every single song is Freddie singing and that's it. That's the formula. But it shows that from a very early start, that the band as a whole was letting the members contribute. Like they were really being a true band and not just saying like this is the formula, it must be Freddie singing in every single song as the lead vocalist. No, they let that song be on the album and they let Brian have his time to shine. And I think it is a really pretty, uplifting song. I think it's just a happy go lucky. It makes me feel happy, the song, musically and lyrically, and just the tone of his voice. Okay, so those are the top 10 that I've listened to the most. Some of them are givens that most people probably like, duh, and then a few of them probably surprised some people. But here are 5 songs that are honorable mentions that I do listen to a ton as well. And that is Under Pressure with David Bowie. Who doesn't love that song? Like, seriously, I love that song. I Want to Break Free is another one that I love singing along to and playing a ton. The Show Must Go On, I really enjoy because it's just it's emotional when you really think about the lyrics and where the band was at that time and where Freddie's health was and everything. It's just a very powerful song lyrically, and you could tell that vocally Freddie was just giving everything he had into recording that song. So I just really like really like the emotional value behind that one. Fat Bottomed Girls is so fun. I really like that song. That's like a good song I put on like a workout playlist or just something that needs to kind of like get me going, putting in a good head zone to like get things done. It's just a fun one. And it's another one that when I saw Queen live, it got everyone really excited. Like everyone was definitely ready for it, very happy to hear it. And it was just a fun time. Speaking of songs that are amazing live, this last song is so incredible live, and that is Hammer to Fall. Whether it was Queen with Freddie, absolutely amazing. So many of us have seen the Live Aid performance, but literally any performance of Hammer to Fall is awesome. But also Queen with Adam Lambert, it still is just an awesome song live. Adam does great vocally, but what really makes it is the big music breakdown, the big music interlude that happens when they perform it live. Brian May has a total rock star moment, guitar solos, and then Roger is just going wild on the drums. And it is just like the ultimate rock moment. And it definitely is a crowd pleaser. It gets everyone just, it's so cool live. It was cool live when I saw it myself. I get excited when I see videos of it. Hammer to Fall is probably one that I do listen to the studio version, but I will opt to listen to live versions more than anything because it is just such on another level when it is performed live. So there are my top 10 songs plus my 5 honorable mentions by Queen. Let me know in the comments what songs you enjoy by Queen, whether it may be singles that everyone knows or if they are tracks that are lesser known on their albums. I would definitely love to see what people like to listen to by them. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, but thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it until the very end. And until my next video, bye.